So we basically met when we were still studying at UCT. Both of us were staying at Res, like we're staying in the same student residence, and like we hadn't really met each other before, but we were staying in the same res. And then I had been putting up music on SoundCloud, and I think Ayema just came across the music by chance. Like he was listening to some music on SoundCloud, and he liked one of the songs that he heard on my profile. So once he saw the like my profile picture for the song, he recognized me from like just seeing me around in the res. So then he knew that he could just hit me up. Like he was just gonna hit me up in the dining hall, which he did. So one night I was just sitting by myself in the dining hall as I usually did.
Such a loner.
Yeah, and
Like, you guys seen Super Bad with Steven
yeah,
Glansberg
yeah.
eating his desserts alone?
It was on those vibes, yeah. So I was just sitting alone, and then he literally like pulled up in front of me, and he just pulled the chair out, and he sat down, and he was like, "Hey, man, I heard your song." Like that, like it was on those vibes, and he just told me that he really likes the song that he heard on my SoundCloud profile. And I was really confused about it because he was a rapper. I had heard him rap before, so when he told me that he likes that song, it was a bit confusing for me because it wasn't really a hip hop song or anything like that, and it was like a really fast paced song. I couldn't really imagine anybody wanting to rap over it, but he was interested in rapping over it. And that was the first time that we properly met. And then we just started hanging out, like going out to certain events because we both liked, local music. We like going out. So we just started hanging out as friends. We didn't really like jump into studio straight away. And we just, started going to waiting room and places like that. And, after months of hanging out, we realized that we have a lot in common and, we like a lot of the same things. But then obviously he still wanted to work on music with me because he still liked that song and he still had an idea for it. So months later, eventually he was like, "Man, can we actually work on that song that I hit you up about before?" So we sat down and he basically just explained to me like what he wanted to do with the song. And he had a whole structure and everything for how he really wanted the song to sound and stuff like that. And he, like, once I structured it that way, he started rapping. Like he just started rapping the verses that he had written down. Like he had been sitting on those verses for a really long time. He had the hook and everything. And then once I heard that, I knew that it was a lit song. And we recorded that song. It ended up being our first collaboration. And we eventually put that song out, and it's our song Lala, the song you were talking about just now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was our first song like ever. Like that's the song that literally he was like, "Man, I have an idea for that beat you put out," and that was Lala.
Dude, that's fucking
Uh,
crazy because that song fucking bangs.
yeah, man. Like, and for him to come to me with that idea, with the verses and everything already thought out before I even knew, he already knew like what he wanted to do. So I had the beat, but the beat sounded way different. And he just knew if we do it like this and record this on top of that, this song is going to be fire. And he was right. He was right. And that's how we became Stiff Pap, basically. Like, once we made that song, we pretty much knew, like, we've got to make way more music. Like, this collaboration, like, this is our first song. Imagine what's going to happen if we keep making more,
Dude, I honestly
and
thought you guys had been, making music together for a while before that song came out. Like that didn't sound like a first time collab kind of situation, especially from two, relatively, well, not even relatively, you guys were pretty unknown, on the South African scene at that point. So to come
yeah.
together and then produce this song that's just like everyone's like, what the fuck is this?
That was our first song, literally. That was our first song. Like, that song existed before we even had a name. Like, before we even called ourselves Stiff Pap, we
Yeah.
made that song. Like, that was our first song.
Fuck, that's so cool. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask another question from Karan here. He says he'd love to hear your experience making the first album at Red Bull Stew. And I think one of our other questions from Simp Slayer, he actually also says, what was the first major studio used and how many songs did you make in that studio? And also, did those songs get released? I mean, we know that they did, but yeah, so how was the whole experience at Red Bull Studios?
Yo, shout out Red Bull Studios, man. Ish, it's no more. Ish, sad story. But
Yeah.
like yo, the experience like making songs there, that was like really dope. I think we had like, was it 5 days, an entire week?
Yeah, we
That's
were there
usually what they give
for
you. Yeah.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
there for like a week, and we just pulled up every day in the morning and spent the whole day there. We already had a couple songs that we had the beats already, that like we had like rough ideas that we wanted to record. So we mostly used the space to record more than the space to like make beats.
Make beats. Yeah.
Yeah.
We already like, as I was saying, we make music like most of the time. Like when we chilling together, if you're not just like chilling and doing like nothing or just like playing something, just being friends, we just make music together or like create ideas together. Especially at that time, like I was telling you, I think it was FISMA's full time and whatnot. So school was just done. There was no school, so we had so much time like on our hands, and we just like, let's make music at Res. And so when we came to the studio at Red Bull, we already had like, I think around 4 or 5 songs that we already made. Like I had the verses, Jakinda had the beats in his laptop, and it was just like so quick, so natural, like yeah, so instinctive. And we just went inside and we recorded it, knocked it out the park based on a ghost story. First EP.
Who was in the
Yeah.
booth at the time? Like, who recorded you
Um,
guys? Do you remember?
we recorded ourselves actually.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I remember. I think we recorded ourselves because we were in Studio B. We
Okay.
weren't
Oh
in like
yeah, the little
the
one.
main like big studio. We were in like the smaller one, and I can't remember who was in the main studio. There was like a big artist working in the main studio, so we couldn't use it, and we just used our time to basically have some good quality recordings of like the vocals, and we wanted to finish off our EP because we had already had Lala, and we knew that we wanted to put out an EP based around like the sound that we were going for at that time.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to record as many songs as possible for that EP, and we recorded ourselves. Yeah,
But actually we had Lala, and remember that track that Dada thingy wanted for that thing he was doing, Uchaiva Pantsula. We
yeah, yeah,
recorded,
yeah.
yeah, I
That came
think,
later though. That was later.
was that later?
I recorded that. Yeah,
Yeah,
later.
because
Yeah,
yeah, that one we recorded at your place, at
yeah.
Jakinda's place. Yeah, but Lala, I think Lala we recorded it at that other studio.
Yeah, so Lala we had already recorded before we went to Red Bull, but then about 3 songs that ended up on the EP we recorded at Red Bull. And then like the final song, the bonus track, we had recorded a bit later after that. But yeah, I mean it was a dope experience recording at Red Bull Studios because they had a lot on offer. They had a lot to use. Like they had like a lot of equipment and like instruments and stuff. But the thing is like we were worried about time because we only had 1 week. And then if we were starting to play around with all these other instruments, we were worried we weren't going to record enough of that to really have something solid at the end. Because at that time, we didn't have our own recording equipment. So for us, the main priority was to be able to record vocals.
Okay.
And yeah, that's really what we focused on at that time.